What is going on, everybody? What is going on? The Catch fam. Hope everyone is doing phenomenal tonight, man. Hope you guys are having a great Wednesday. Hope you guys are gearing up for some Thursday night football tomorrow as we approach week 10 of the 2022 fantasy football season. You guys know what time it is. Tonight, we're going to hop into some live week 10 fantasy Q&A. So let me know what you guys need. Starts, sits, ads, drops. How did the waiver wire go for you guys? How are you guys feeling about your roster overall going into the week? Let's have some fun. Let's talk some fantasy football. Y'all know what to do, man. Hit that like button on the way in. Hit that subscribe button, of course, if you are new to the channel. And let's get into it, man. Let me know what you guys need. All right, so let me double check here and see if we've got any, not really any crazy updates that I saw throughout the day. We got Matthew Stafford in concussion protocol, but still has a chance to play. Kyler Murray is also considered day-to-day with a hamstring injury, so we do kind of have an interesting potential game script boiling up between the Cardinals and the Rams if those two quarterbacks are truly injured in any capacity. But I've read that both have a strong chance of playing, but it's definitely something to monitor for both quarterbacks in terms of Kyler Murray, hamstring injury, Stafford, and concussion protocol. So see what happens. Darren Waller still limited in practice. No surprise there. Dameon Pierce was added to the injury report with a chest and shoulder issue. Was limited in practice today, but I expect he'll be good to go. Keenan Allen has not practiced and is still expected to be day-to-day. Giant bummer there. We don't have it like for sure update on Josh Allen, but the moment he's still day-to-day with an elbow sprain is what it's being called. So keep an eye on Josh Allen, but nothing catastrophic has come out yet in terms of Allen. In terms of Jonathan Taylor, he was spotted participating in practice today, so we might see Jonathan Taylor against the Raiders this weekend. We'll see what happens. Treylon Burke made his return from IR. He practiced today as well. And that's about it. We still definitely want to keep an eye on the Josh Allen situation. Nothing's set there. There's still a strong possibility that Josh Allen does not play this weekend. So, Gus Edwards expected to be back for the Ravens in Week 11. Got some buzz about Wakad White taking over the Buccaneers backfield, but who knows, right? Who knows? And that's really about it. Budda Baker for the Cardinals is going to miss about 2 or 3 weeks with a high ankle sprain, which is not good for the Cardinals defense at all. So, see what happens there. And that's about it. That's about it. Nothing crazy. The Stafford, Kyler Murray stuff we want to keep an eye on. And then in terms of Josh Allen, you know, we're still monitoring that situation. So things are there's definitely some things to keep an eye on there. So we'll see what happens. All right, I'm hopping in the live chat right away. Let's get this thing going, man. Appreciate you guys being here tonight. Hit that like button for me, guys. Let's try and get as many likes on the stream as possible. Let's have some fun. Let's talk some fantasy football. All right. Ghost Hunter, Jimmy G, or Carr this week? I would definitely, in my opinion, go Jimmy G, without a doubt. I don't want to start Carr right now. Not even close. Even against a Colts team that's like in complete shambles. I'll take Jimmy G against the Chargers for sure. Very safe floor there. Ricky, what's up, man? Should I trade Aaron Jones for Chase? Need a wide receiver too, even though it's Lockett right now. My other running backs are Eckler, Jacobs, Sanders, and Pollard. I mean, you're pretty set at running back even if you trade Aaron Jones, but you just have to keep in mind we don't have a timetable at the moment for Jamar Chase, so you can do the trade. I mean, your running backs will be fine, so I don't hate it, but just obviously you're not going to start Chase right away, you know. Ghost Hunter picked up Deshaun and hopes he'll be a top quarterback in the playoffs. Would you say it's worth it at this point? I mean, it's definitely worth stashing him to see what happens, but till we see Watson out on the field, we don't know what to expect from him, right? It's been about 2 years since he plays, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's worth holding on to him. Why not? Smokey, what's up, bro? If you would have told me week 1 I'd be sitting Herbert playing Fields at week 9, non-injury related, I would have not believed it. Yeah, no kidding, man. DC King, what's up, my guy? Jamal Williams or Donta Foreman? I'd probably go Jamal Williams, but I expect Donta Foreman to bounce back. That's the other thing with tomorrow's matchup, which was going to be a good matchup on paper from a fantasy perspective. We've got bad weather. Everything that I've read. I'm going to double check because it's been a little bit since I've checked. But I'm going to check here. See if there's any update on the weather for tomorrow. It's like a tropical storm hitting Florida that's going to make its way through Atlanta as well. Or, excuse me, Carolina. Or are they in Atlanta? Hold on. I really don't know off the top of my head. Falcons at Panthers. Yeah, Carolina. Okay, that's what I thought. I was about to say, because I'm in Virginia. We're supposed to get rain, like, from it as well. I don't see any updates on the weather. But, yeah, it could definitely be impacted. It's not even a tropical storm. It's a hurricane. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But that could impact players like DJ Moore, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Terrace Marshall, even the quarterbacks in this matchup as well, including Mariota. So, we'll have to keep an eye on that for sure. I'll go Jamal Williams at the moment. Andrea, hello, hello. Okay, what's up? Donta Foreman, Curtis Samuel, or Jeff Wilson? I go Curtis. It's close. I'll probably go Jeff Wilson. It's close. I kind of think Curtis Samuel could end up in a good game. Well, I don't think it's gonna be a good game for the Commanders, but I think he could benefit from the Commanders being in a position where they need to throw the football. And the last time they played the Eagles, he had like 12 fantasy points. So I'm not necessarily out on Curtis Samuel, but Jeff Wilson feels pretty safe in a good game script against the Browns. And the Browns have been so bad against the run all year. I'll probably go Jeff Wilson. He's like, feels like a lock for a touchdown, right? Andrew, what's going on, man? Week 10, let's get a win, catch fam. Let's go. Hope everyone doing well today. Currently in Florida, tropical storm here. Shouldn't be too bad. Catch fam content to get me through. Let's go, bro. Yeah, so I guess we just hit on that. Let's go, man. So it is tropical storm where you are. Okay. I've heard tropical storm and hurricane, so you know better than I would, though. PJ, what's good, bro? Should I start Swift, Cooper, or Pollard in the flex? I'd probably go Cooper, personally. I like this game script between the Browns and the Dolphins. Expected to be high scoring. I'd probably go Cooper, Pollard, then Swift. Hope you're doing well, PJ. Good to have you here. DJ Moore versus Atlanta, or Sutton versus Tennessee, asks Andrea. I mean, we got to wait and see what this weather looks like, but probably Sutton versus Tennessee. I mean, if it wasn't for the weather, I'd probably go DJ Moore. I think he bounces back this week, but overall, Sutton against Tennessee is still a good matchup. It's a really good matchup. Tennessee's secondary has been awful, so I feel like Sutton at the moment is a little bit safer. Nick, what's up? What's up? Grant, what's going on? If Zeke is out again, would you start Pollard or Kenneth Walker in the flex? I still go Kenneth Walker, but yeah, Pollard against the Packers doesn't sound too bad either. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Let me see if we have an update. I just still feel like Kenneth Walker is a player that we just can't bench. I really do. Don't get me wrong, Pollard went crazy against the Bears, but ooh, that's so tough. That's so tough. And Pollard had 33.7 fantasy points in Week 8. 131 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns. I don't quite know if he'll repeat that, but he could have another good day against the Packers for sure. I mean, their defense is a little bit banged up right now. That's close, but I just don't feel like we can bench. I don't feel like we can bench Walker. But gosh, Pollard looked good. Very close, man. My gut says stick with Walker, but Pollard's probably just as good, honestly. Albert, what's up, man? Let's see here. Should I trade DJ Moore for Judy? You can. I don't know if it necessarily improves your roster having one or the other, but if you feel better about Judy, that's fine. Should I try to trade Lazard and Foreman for Lamb? Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I would. And I like Lazard a lot, but I think that's a fair trade. Pray, what's good, my guy? Ty, what's up, man? Should I start Terrace Marshall Jr.? He's fine to start, but we want to monitor this weather. If the weather comes out looking like it's going to be as poor as most people think it's going to be, you might want to sit him. If the weather really is as bad as it might be, like, I don't know if we want to start any receivers in this game, unfortunately. Would you start DJ Moore or Mooney? I go Mooney. What's up, Kelly? I go Mooney. Very good matchup overall against the Lions this week. I think he's a super safe start. I go Mooney. Nice upside, too, against the Lions. Is Brandon Cooks going to play this week? Let's take a look, Ander. Last I read, it was still up in the air. But let's take a look. He didn't practice today. He's dealing with a wrist injury. So, who knows? I mean, his last absence was not due to an injury, but now he has an injury. So, maybe not. Maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. But not a great update there. Ty had to make some pickups, but nervous about Terrace Marshall, and I'm going against the top seed in my league. Yeah, I liked Terrace Marshall coming into the week, but that was before we knew about how bad the weather could potentially be. So we need to keep a close eye on that situation as we get closer and closer to Thursday night kickoff. So we'll see what happens. It's a good matchup. I mean, the Falcons are the worst team in the league against opposing receivers, and A.J. Terrell is going to be out for this game as well. So the only good defender in that secondary, who's missed a couple games now, is going to continue to be out. Matt, what's going on, my guy? What up, what up, what up? Great to see you, man. How are you? Awesome to have you in the chat tonight. What's up, man? And with the $2 dono. What a guy. What a guy. I got to get emojis in the chat for you, man. If I can find the emojis. There we go. Jeez. Emojis in the chat for Matt. Thank you, ma'am. What's up, my guy? What's up, man? Brady, Jimmy G, or Danny Dimes? No Lamar this week. I go Jimmy G. Just the safest streaming option here. I like Danny Dimes against Houston as well, but Houston's defense, surprisingly, if you take away their run defense, they haven't played that bad this year, you know? I think Danny Dimes is okay, but Jimmy G is just a really safe floor. I like that potential game script overall against the Chargers a little bit better as well. So Jimmy G, a very, very safe stream this week. I will go with Jimmy Garoppolo for sure. Unfortunately, I'm not going Brady. Seahawks defense is actually pretty damn good, man. You know, so, and it's a weird game. It's a Germany game. First game in Germany ever. It's a morning game. That could be good. That could be bad. But overall, just right now, regardless of the matchup, I'm not starting Tom Brady. But the Seattle Seahawks defense is number 3 in fantasy right now, which doesn't always correlate to like real life football. I mean, you can have 5 turnovers in a game and still give up 500 yards and lose, you know. So, but I'm not saying that that's what they're doing, but they have given up a fair amount of yards per game. But yeah, their defense 3 in fantasy. So it's just crazy, man. Crazy to see. I mean, Pete Carroll's got that team humming. Anyways, Matt, I go Jimmy G for sure, my guy. What's up, Matt? Thank you so much for the super chat. All right, Bigfoot, what's up? David Monty, Foreman, or Curtis Samuel? I'd probably go Montgomery against the Lions. Just too good of a matchup to ignore. I'd probably go Monty. Who would you rather have, Pollard and Dameon Pierce or Dalvin and Mostert? I'd rather have Pollard and Pierce for sure, Parker. Definitely. Far more upside with those players. I like Dalvin Cook a lot. Christian, should I trade away Derrick Henry and Pierce for Kelsey and Chubb? I have Saquon and Cordero Patterson as my other running backs. You can definitely consider this. I mean, that's going to leave you with Chubb, Saquon, and Cordero, and then Travis Kelsey at tight end. If you want to get that big upgrade at tight end, that big positional advantage, then you can do it because Henry and Chubb are right next to each other in overall rankings on the year and overall stats. So you're not really you're losing the extra running back, right? You're basically swapping Henry and Chubb, which I don't think really negatively impacts you. Both of those guys are going to probably finish in the top 5, right? And they're just neck and neck with each other right now. And they're playing the same exact style of football, right? Then you're essentially trading Dameon Pierce for Travis Kelsey, which is a good trade. And then you're going to roll with, man, it's still a good roster, right? You got Chubb, Saquon, and Cordero versus Henry, Pierce. Wow, you got a lot of running backs. I mean, if you want that positional advantage at tight end, I say go for it. But just understand that you're losing depth at running back. And at this point in the season, running back depth becomes very important. So if you're willing to sacrifice the extra running back, I think it's okay. I'm not totally against it. If there's a chance to go out and get a guy like Kelsey, I'm not against it. All right, Nick, with the $5 dono, thank you so much for the super chat, my guy. What's up, Nick? Hawkinson or Kittle? Woo. Walker or D-Hop at flex. Okay. So, Hawkinson this week gets the Bills. Kittle gets the Chargers. I'm leaning Kittle here. I'm leaning Kittle here, but let's double check. Let me double check the matchups here just to see if there's an advantage to either player here. But I'm leaning Kittle. It's close. Chargers are like right in the middle. They're 18th overall against opposing tight ends. And Hawkinson has Buffalo. They're a lot better. They're like the 9th best team in the league against opposing tight ends. I still lean Kittle because I think he gives you better upside regardless. I'll go Kittle. Walker or D-Hop at flex is super close. Super close because you're going to see a lot of Ramsey on D-Hop more than likely, but the rest of that secondary has been bad. I mean, really outside of Ramsey and Donald and Wagner, like this defense been pretty bland. I mean, gosh. The Seattle Seahawks held DeAndre Hopkins to 5 targets, 4 receptions, 36 receiving yards, and a touchdown. I mean, we just talked about Seattle. They're pretty damn good. Okay, so, like, listen, the floor for Hopkins is pretty good. He's probably still going to get you 12 points at worst, right? And his ceiling is about 33 points if we're looking at the season. So, nothing wrong with Hopkins, right? But Walker, on the other hand, he gets Tampa Bay. I mean, it's a tough matchup. That's like the one thing Tampa Bay's done right all year is stop the run. But he brings a lot of upside. A lot of upside. I probably go Hopkins. Wow, I very rarely sit Kenneth Walker. It's a Germany game. Could get a little crazy. This defense could not really show up, man. Wow, that's a tough one. Very tough. I go Kittle at tight end for sure. Walker or D-Hop is super tough. I mean, I think if it's full PPR, D-Hop's a little bit safer, but Walker brings more upside. It's very close. Very, very close. Chat, let me know what you guys think. Would you start Kenneth Walker versus Tampa Bay or D-Hop at the Rams this weekend? Very close, Nick. Nick, thank you so much for the $5 super chat, my dude. All right, Brian. Thank you, Brian. 2 super chats in a row. What a guy. Thank you so much, man. All right, let's start with the first one. Geno or Herbert? 6-point touchdown. I go Geno. Going Geno. A little worried about Herbie at the moment. Really, I gotta go Geno. Germany game could get a little wacky. But he's your quarterback 8. 2 touchdowns in his last 3 games. No touchdowns in week 6. Then the 3 previous games, 2 or more touchdowns. So I think he's the better bet. Herbie, on the other hand, 1 touchdown, 2 touchdowns, 0 touchdowns, 1, 2, 1. Hasn't thrown more than 2 touchdowns since week 2. Weeks 1 and 2, he threw 3 touchdowns a game. But I don't know if Keenan Allen's going to be out there and Mike Williams is not going to be out there. And San Francisco's defense, not bad. They haven't been playing as good as of late, but man, Herbert's your quarterback 14. He's been struggling. Not a lot around him, don't get me wrong. I'll go Geno. Give me Geno. Chat, let us know what you guys think. Geno or Herbert this weekend? Let's see here. All right, Brian, what we got here? Wide receiver 2, Palmer, Deontay Johnson, or Terrace Marshall in half PPR. Very close here because half PPR, you're going for that potential touchdown advantage, right? So I did like Terrace Marshall coming into the week, but I just think it's too shaky with the weather until we get a more clear update tomorrow night. And in terms of what the weather is going to look like. So keep a close eye on Terrace Marshall. But, man, I might go Palmer. When I just talked you out of going Herbert, you know. But I don't know. Palmer's only got 1 touchdown on the year. It's very, very tough. Deontay Johnson has no touchdowns on the year. I probably don't go Johnson in the half PPR league. I'll say this much. Terrace Marshall with the weather. If we get an improved weather update, if not, I still go Josh Palmer because I think the overall volume's better. But that's very tough. I mean, I understand why you're asking that question because that's a very tough decision between those players. Undoubtedly, man. Undoubtedly. So let me know, Brian, where your thoughts are at. Chat, let us know what you guys think here. Palmer, Deontay Johnson, or Terrace Marshall. Very close overall there. All right, George with the $5 donut. Thank you guys so much for the super chats tonight. I appreciate you guys, man. Really do. Let's see here. Lamb, Sutton, and Carter for Kamara, Cooks, and Rachaad White. What do you think? I probably keep the Lamb side of things. You know, like there's some potential here that you're gaining Alvin Kamara and he doesn't face suspension this year. And it looks like that's potentially what you're going for. I'm not completely against it. Okay, his trial date. Okay, 9 hours ago. I didn't see this. Has been set for March 1st. So he won't be suspended this year. You know, his trial's not until March 1st. So Kamara's in the clear. How did I not see this? I mean, if you want to upgrade at running back that badly, you want to go out and get Kamara, I'm not against it. But this hurts your receiver depth. If you're trading away the Lamb side, which I'm assuming you are, I mean, losing Lamb and Sutton, Lamb is obviously the wide receiver that's more valuable to lose, but Sutton, due to matchup, will still have some good games, you know. Michael Carter starting to actually come in a little bit as well, like we saw last week. Both Carter and Robinson played pretty well, actually, against a good Bills run defense, and we know the Jets are going to run the football quite a bit. But Kamara is still the best player overall here, so the way I look at this is like literally Lamb, Sutton, and Carter for Kamara. And Kamara is that good that it's fine, but it is a lot to lose. You just got to understand, you know, how much does this hurt your receiver depth. It's not going to hurt your running back depth because you're gaining Kamara, then you got Rachaad White as a handcuff. So other wide receivers are Hopkins and Evans. So you're pretty good at receiver. Well, I'll say this much. I don't think Cooks is in the equation. Like, to me, Cooks doesn't really give you any value at all. So just keep in mind, it is, even if you have Hopkins and Evans, it's still hurting your receiver depth overall. But it's an upgrade at running back. So if you're hurting at running back, you want an upgrade at running back, you want a good potential handcuff in Rachaad White as well, then it's okay. It's okay. I mean, it's not an awful trade by any means, but you have to understand that you're losing two receivers you can potentially start overall. So just keep that in mind. But overall, I'm not against the trade at all, man. All right, Kelly with the $5 super chat. Thank you guys so much for the super chats tonight, man. Appreciate you guys. All right, Kelly, standard 10 team. I have JT, Patterson, Gus Edwards, Pacquiao, and Hines. Drop one to pick up Mooney. Wide receivers are Lockett, DJ Moore, Palmer, and Chase. Okay, I keep your receivers for now. Looking at the running backs, I drop Hines or Pacquiao. Yeah, definitely one of those two. And even you could argue Gus Edwards, but I think the safest player to drop is probably Pacquiao. But I don't know. They face Jacksonville and the Chargers, and they get Houston and Seattle in weeks 15 and 16. Like, I own Clyde Edwards-Helaire in a league, and I'm not dropping him. I'm like, because some of these upcoming matchups are really good. You know, there's some tough matchups too, like Denver and the Rams, right? And Denver again in week 17. But there's some good exploitable matchups. So might be worth it to hold on just to see what happens, because if you drop him and he balls out, like you're gonna hate yourself. I might drop Gus Edwards. I might drop Gus Edwards. He's not gonna be back till at least week 11, and he's on a bye week. And even when he comes back, you still got Kenyon Drake. And I guess he got Justice Hill, and he maybe got Dobbins coming back. So it's like, it's always shaky in that backfield. You know? He does have a pretty decent schedule. But, like, I don't know. Like, how confident are you in starting Gus Edwards on a weekly basis? Then, like, Hines, like, I don't mind dropping him, but someone's going to pick him up because there's potential there. You know? Because he's on Buffalo. Didn't do anything this first week, but we didn't expect him to. He was only on the field for 6% of snaps, but that's probably going to increase, but we don't really know what that role is going to look like. So if you think there's enough potential there, then I might drop Gus Edwards, but there's an argument for Edwards, Pacquiao, or Hines, and I think Mooney is definitely worth picking up. So let me know what you think, and we'll keep thinking about it. But I would drop one of those three. I mean, you're not dropping JT, you're not dropping Patterson, so you don't want to lose too much running back depth. And keep in mind that Mooney it's a standard league, so Mooney has more value in a PPR league than a standard league. But this Bears offense probably going to play well the next 2 weeks for sure. They're two very good matchups. So, all right, hope that was helpful, Kelly. Let me know what your thoughts are there. Let's see here. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. I appreciate you guys. Brian, Cade or Pitts? Half PPR, worried about Brait. Yeah, I did see that Brait might be coming back. Let's take a look at Cameron Brait. Yeah, he practiced in full. But I don't know, man. Don't you feel like Cade Otton coming off a game winner and everything? He's had 10 points in 3 of his last 10 points or more in 3 of his last 5 matchups. It's fair though. Do we really know what this team is going to do on a weekly basis at all? I don't think we do, you know. But I think maybe he's gained some trust with Brady. But do I know that? No. I mean, I don't know what goes through Brady's head. But Seattle is the worst team in the league against opposing tight ends. So it's also possible that both of these guys could have a productive day. And the Rams are like the 3rd best team in the league against opposing tight ends. And he has 6 targets, 5 receptions, 68 receiving yards, and the game-winning touchdown. I mean, I'm personally more confident in Cade Otton. But I have like I don't know, I have a vendetta against Kyle Pitts. But once again, you know, ultimately, if we see bad enough rain in this game tomorrow, which we'll have a better answer tomorrow night, I wouldn't start Pitts. So I'd probably go Cade Otton, to be honest with you. I liked him as a streaming option coming into the week regardless. So I go Cade Otton, Brian. I do. All right, thank you guys so much for the super chats, man. I appreciate you guys. Of course, if you want your question answered right away on the queue, you can send in a super chat, but no obligation. I always get through the entire chat. It just takes me a little bit. All right, where was I? CeeDee Lamb versus season ranking. Kind of tough to say. I mean, he's a top 20 receiver for sure. Probably finish as, like, if the Cowboys get rolling here, wide receiver 14 or 15. If they really get rolling, he'll make it to the top 12 or 10. But just the way this team is ran with such a emphasis, I think, on the run game at the end of the day, and then their defense. Like, his ceiling's always kind of capped, but he's also like the only productive receiver on this team, which is strange because we all expected Michael Gallup to step up, and Noah Brown looked good earlier in the year as well. And now you got Dalton Schultz coming in as well. But yeah, I mean, CeeDee Lamb perfectly fine, man. Very safe floor on a week-to-week basis. So I still think, especially in full PPR leagues, that there's a lot of reason to like CeeDee Lamb, you know. All right, let's see here. At quarterback, who do I start? Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford, or Prescott? Prescott for sure. Not even close. Not even close. Is Jaylen Warren worth a stash, or is Steelers O-line too terrible? Jacob, he's probably worth a stash, but no more than a stash. I mean, he's always been worth a stash in terms of a handcuff, but yeah, that O-line's garbage. But yeah, worth taking a look at. Why not? PJ, CeeDee Lamb, or Mike Evans? Let me check on... I don't know if Jair Alexander is going to play. I literally never know if Jair Alexander's playing. He played last week, so why would he not be playing this week? And then on the other hand, I don't know, man. Mike Evans kind of in a tough matchup as well. Seahawks cornerbacks are not playing bad. I might go Evans in a Germany game in the morning, but I mean, I'll go Evans for upside, CeeDee Lamb for a floor, but they're pretty close. Matt, you got Mariota also available. I would still go Garoppolo. Bix, what's up, man? Fields, Judy, and Dulcich for Kelsey. Woo! Full PPR, Herbert is second quarterback. It's close, but I probably wouldn't trade Fields in a double QB league. Bix, let me know the rest of your roster. But and I mean, I like Kelsey. It's not a bad trade for Kelsey. Depends on who your QB1 is. Or wait, it's not a double quarterback league. I'm sorry. You got Fields and Herbert. You're going to gain a lot of momentum and a lot of positional advantage at tight end on a weekly basis. But you're going to lose more upside at quarterback. And you already have I think a tight end who's going to be consistent on the year in Greg Dulcich. But he's he's definitely, he's no Kelsey. He's no Kelsey, that's for sure. It's close. I'd have to see the rest of your roster. It is a good trade for Kelsey. But I don't know if it's necessary per se, if that makes sense. So definitely close here. Definitely close. All right, let me take a look here. Brian with another super chat. Thank you, my guy. Foreman or Pollard? I go Pollard for sure. Or Marshall. Or Deion Jackson. I go Marshall. Actually, I'm so sorry. I go Pollard. I go Pollard for sure. Most upside. I don't even care if Zeke is healthy. I still go Pollard. I think Pollard's a good start this week. Yeah, Brian, for me, I'm going Pollard all day long here, my guy. Foreman, worth a look. But I'm just very wary of this Thursday night game with the potential rain. Because, like, it's not just going to be rain. It's going to be, like, a downpour. So, I keep an eye on things there. Blaine, what's going on, man? Thank you so much for the $5 super chat tonight. What's going on, man? How are you? I'm good. Can you pick 3? Waddle, Walker, Brown, and Kamara. I mean, Blaine, you really can't go wrong here, but I go A.J. Brown against Washington. That secondary is awful. I go Waddle. You just can't bench Waddle. Can you bench Walker or Kamara right now? I mean, shoot, man. Shoot. I'll bench Walker against the Buccaneers, but you can't go wrong here. I mean, Kamara's coming off of his worst game of the season against the Steelers. I start both receivers. I probably bench Walker, but I don't like it. I know you don't like it. I mean, just looking at the matchups, Walker has the worst matchup. It doesn't mean he's going to be the worst player, but very close here, Blaine. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. Come on. Beautiful lineup either way, man. Blaine, thank you for the $5 super chat. I appreciate you, my dude. All right, Bix. You got Fields, Herbert, Mixon, Kamara, Hunt, Ricard, Warren, Higgins, Kirk, Judy, DJ Moore, Palmer, and Dulcich. So that'll leave you with Herbert, Mixon, Kamara, Hunt, Ricard, Warren, Higgins, Kirk, Moore, Palmer. I mean, it doesn't hurt. The trade doesn't hurt your roster other than quarterback. Like, Fields has Herbert has no ceiling right now. Has no ceiling right now. So if you're content with that, that's fine. But if you want the ceiling at the quarterback position, then I wouldn't do the trade, because Fields is going to give you that. And Dulcich still brings a lot of consistency. Jerry Jeudy on your team or not doesn't really affect you. You still have Higgins, Kirk, Moore, and Palmer. So, like, you're fine there. Your running backs don't get affected either way. So, Bix, I don't know if the trade is necessary, and I think it hurts the quarterback position. I'll say that much. Let me know what you think. I mean, I'll say this much, man. If you want Kelsey, it's not a bad trade for Kelsey. It's perfectly fine. You can always ask, like, you're going to have to drop a player. So, who are you going to drop? Let me get whoever you're going to drop, you know. But, yeah. Not an awful trade at all. It doesn't like kill your roster by any means, so. But still very close. It definitely hurts the quarterback position, I'll say that much. Alright, let's see. Where was I? Ghost Hunter, I think I should try to trade Monty and Herbert for Debo. I've seen Etienne already, so I don't really need them. I also have my flex spot locked up with Goddard since I have Kelsey. I mean, you're trading away an entire backfield, and they're going to, I'll say this much, they're going to have a good week. They play Detroit, you know? So, if you want to wait a week, you might be able to sell them a little bit higher, you know? So maybe do that. But if you want to go get Debo, I don't have a problem with it. But Debo, let's take a look. I think he's off. Yeah, okay, he practiced in full. So he should be good to go. I'm not against it per se, but I will add in, like, they played the Lions this week. They're going to have a good week. Andrea, Brady or Goff? Whew. I'll go Goff against the Bears. Competitive game script. That Seahawks defense is for real, man. So I'll go Goff. But if you feel better about Brady, I guess it's fine. J-Dubs with the $5 chat. Thank you so much, man. What's up, J-Dubs? What's going on, man? Great to have you here tonight. Thoughts on trading for Sanders to get someone immediately? I know he's wildly inconsistent, but his schedule is favorable for running the ball the rest of the year. In terms of Miles Sanders, I don't have an issue going out and getting Miles Sanders at all. I think Sanders has been actually quite consistent. I mean, really, when you look at his numbers, week 3, he had 5.4 points. Week 5, he had 8.4. Outside of that, he's had at least 11.6 or more fantasy points every game of the season. And, yeah, I agree. You know, the other aspect is, like, especially as we start to get towards the second half of the year, the Eagles are going to be running that rock, man. Like, that's the heart and soul of this football team. That's what Nick Sirianni likes to do as a head coach. They're going to be trying to close out some of these games, minimize injuries for that playoff push, you know, unless they just drastically start losing a massive amount of games. But they play Washington, the Colts, Green Bay, Tennessee, the Giants, Chicago next coming weeks. No offense to your Chicago Bears who are humming J-Dubs. And, I mean, the Giants could be competitive. Tennessee is still competitive. Green Bay has Aaron Rodgers, whatever that means. Then they play Dallas, New Orleans, and the Giants. So I would say that they're probably a lock for the playoffs at least, right? But who knows? A lot can change. But anyways, I think Miles Sanders is a great running back to go out and target, man. Yeah. I think he's a great running back to go out and target. So it depends on what you're going to be trading for him and everything and what you have to give up. But I don't have any problem with Sanders. I've loved Sanders all year long. So I say go for it. All right, let's see here. Let me get caught back up. Appreciate the $5 super chat, J-Dubs. All right, the guy I would be trading with needs running backs too. Yeah, I'll see what happens after this weekend, potentially, Ghost Hunter. Emmy, Kate Otten or Cole Kmet? I'd probably go Kmet, but it's close. I do like Kate Otten this week. It's a very good matchup, but it's close. It's close. Very close there. Both have good matchups. Oh, they're like right on the same level for me. It's extremely close. But Otten technically is the better matchup. Extremely close. I don't think it's really going to hurt you if you go either way. Emmy, Judy Pickens, Palmer, and Godwin. Pick 2 wide receiver in a flex and full PPR. Give me Judy in the flex. He gets Tennessee. Awful secondary. Give me Godwin. And give me Palmer if Allen is out. If not, you can go Pickens. Palmer and Pickens kind of interchangeable, to be honest. Once again, I mean, similar to like Kmet and Otten. They're very similar in my eyes. But if Palmer's the number one receiver, go Palmer. Would you rather have Deion Jackson or Damian Harris on the bench? Probably Deion Jackson, to be honest, because I feel like he's a handcuff who is in a position right now whose RB1 is still questionable at times. So, but it's very close. Very close, DC King. When I started watching your streams, I was 0-4, but I got myself up to 4-5. I'm back in the playoff hunt. Let's freaking go. I love to hear that, man. Let's go, let's go. Love to see it. Would you trade CeeDee Lamb for Amon-Ra St. Brown? No, I would not. CeeDee Lamb brings more consistency. And I like Amon-Ra a lot. I'm not giving up on Amon-Ra, but we just can't deny CeeDee Lamb holds a ton of consistency. Can you think of a running back that's going to break out that might be in the free agency? I got Patterson, Cook, Pollard. I need a running back looking to get rid of Murray. If Tyler Algier is out there, I still like Algier quite a bit. He got, depending on your league, he may have already gotten picked up. It depends on who is out there. And I'm not sure if you're asking, in free agency. So, on the waivers. Kareem Hunt's been dropped in some leagues. He's worth taking a look at for sure, but he's probably rostered, right? I mean, let me know who are like the top guys out there because it's kind of shot in the dark. Alexander Madison still rostered in like 50% of leagues is someone to take a look at. Kenneth Gainwell at this point I think is worth rostering as a pure handcuff to Miles Sanders, who could see involvement as the second half of the season goes on. Rachaad White is like the easy answer. He's rostered in 54% of leagues. So it just depends on who's out there, man. So if you want to look at kind of who are the top options, and I can take a look. Chuba Hubbard's probably worth picking back up as well. Coming back from injury and everything, so. Should I play Justin Fields over Dak? This week, yes, but don't drop Dak. There's going to be some matchups on a week-to-week basis where Dak's a little bit better. There's going to be some matchups where Fields is a little bit better. But this week against the Lions, I go Fields. Do you think Chubb should be a sell really high now that Kareem is staying and Deshaun's coming back? No. No, Jackson, I don't. I think Nick Chubb should be on your roster if you have him because he's very good. In all seriousness, I would just keep rolling with Chubb. I don't think they're going to limit him or use other players more because, let's face it, Chubb is the face of that offense, whether Watson is there or not. Hardman, DPJ, Thielen, Singletary, Gallup, PPR pick 3, got hit with week 10 bye, so I'm desperate. What's going on, Trev? Hardman for sure. DPJ has a good matchup, a good game script against Miami. He's been very consistent in PPR. Not a good ceiling, but the floor is safe. And I'll go Thielen. Yeah. I'll leave Singletary and Gallup on the bench, Trev. YBN, I'm getting traded Kelsey and Chubb for Pierce, Henry, Pat Freiermuth. Okay. That's fine. You get extra running back. Either way, it's fine. Like, you get a big upgrade at tight end, and you swap Henry and Pierce for Chubb. Either way, this is fine. I can't tell which side you're on, but either way, I think it's okay. It doesn't break your roster. Did anyone else have Mixon on the bench like I did last week? Hurt me deeply. Yikes. I did not. But I don't have Mixon in any leagues. But Mixon was my guy like all off season. So I'm happy to see him balling finally. But he didn't land to me in any drafts, unfortunately. Yeah, he had a monster week. I think I'm overpaying. I've got Saquon and Cordero. I'm thinking about giving Cordero and Amari Cooper for Kelsey. That's a better trade. Yeah, if he can pull that off, that's a better trade, man. Let's see. Mitchell start 2. Davis, Smith, Sutton, Deontay. I'd probably hold off on Gabe Davis this weekend, especially without knowing the news on Josh Allen and everything. Give me Sutton against Tennessee. Sutton and Devonta Smith versus Washington. Need one. Sutton, Palmer, Rondale Moore, George Pickens. I really think that Sutton's going to bounce back and have not a great week per se, but just a safe week. I really do. But if Palmer is the #1 receiver for the Chargers this weekend, I might go Palmer just due to volume. Rondell Moore is kind of interesting too, though. Should I keep or trade Connor and or Zeke? I have Hill and CD and Chubb 14-man. I mean, you can trade those guys. Depends on what you're going to get, you know. Connor coming off a decent enough performance in full PPR. Zeke's banged up, but if you can get good enough value, I don't see why not. Connor's got some decent matchups coming up, if I'm not mistaken. Might be the opposite way around. Hold on. I'm going to check now. Can't remember if it's good matchups or bad matchups coming up. Well, good and bad. Mostly bad, though. Rams in week 10, bad. San Francisco week 11, bad. Chargers, very good. A bye week. New England, Denver, Tampa Bay. That is a tough stretch. I think it's Atlanta in the fantasy championship, so not the best matchups. Might be a good time to trade him. Joey, I did not get a super chat from you, my guy. I did not. If you sent one, let me know. Let me know, my dude. I did not get one. Would you trade A.J. Dillon, pick up Kyron Williams? Or would you drop A.J. Dillon, pick up Kyron Williams? At the moment, with Jones banged up, even though it looks like Jones is probably going to play, right? Yeah, I don't even... He's still questionable. He practiced today, though. I'd probably hold on to A.J. Dillon as a handcuff over Kyron Williams. Still like the idea of Kyron Williams, but we just don't know what in the world that offense is going to do, what Sean McVay is going to do. And on top of that, that offensive line's not playing good. So it's close. But I'd probably hold A.J. Dillon right now. Probably hold Dillon for now. All right, let's see. Blaine on a 3-game win streak. Let's get it. Let's go. Joey traded Tua and Lamb for Adams. I have Burrow and Fields. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I love me some Tua time, but you don't need him if you have Burrow and Fields and you upgrade at receiver. You know, I like me some CeeDee Lamb. Very safe player, but you go from the wide receiver 16 overall in PPR right now to the wide receiver 6. So you drop a quarterback you don't need. You take a receiver up 10 spots. It's a good trade, Joey. I like it. Howdy, Sergeant. What's up, bro? My wide receivers this week are Olave, A.J. Brown, DJ Moore, Allen Lazard, and Pickens. Start 2, flex 1. Also, Khalil Herbert, who could be a flex. Okay. I still stick with Olave. I know Olave was like relatively disappointing. I had someone ask me on this wide receiver video last week, start Olave or Juju Smith-Schuster, and I went Olave. And they commented and told me they unsubscribed because they lost by 1 point. And if they started Juju, they would have won. And I was like, well, sorry, man. But I still stick with Olave. Pittsburgh's secondary has been awful. So I still stick with Olave. And I go A.J. Brown undoubtedly against Washington. Like, might not have a crazy ceiling due to game script, but he's just too good of a player to sit here. And I like Lazard on a weekly basis. So I'm okay with Lazard, even though it's a tough matchup. But for upside, I'd probably go Khalil Herbert versus Detroit. So I'd probably go Olave, A.J. Brown, and Khalil Herbert. But Lazard's okay, too. And I would like DJ Moore to bounce back this week, but this weather is just going to be crap. Kelsey owner only has Lamar Jackson. He's frustrated with him the last few weeks. And now, since he is on bye, I was thinking selling high on Fields. I'm not completely against it, bro. Just understand, like, Fields gives you upside at quarterback. Herbert at the moment doesn't. So, J-Dubs, post an update to our catch fam draft Underdog. Oh, let me take a look, bro. I think I saw it earlier. I just didn't have... I was getting the baby down. What we got here? This is a catch fam one? Oh, yeah, I'm in there. Man, you're killing it. 493.30. I'm at 392.8. Derek's at 388.2. Let's go, man. I looked at one of mine, and I'm doing pretty good. Just in one underdog draft. Derek. Thank you, J-Dubs, for the update, my guy. I appreciate you doing that. Derek, need one Herbert, Wilson, Fournette, Foreman. I probably go Wilson. It's a great matchup. The Browns have been very bad against the run and should be a good game script. But Herbert against the Lions is good, too. You could really flip a coin between those two. Wilson might see more volume, so I'd probably go Wilson, but it's close. Andrew, good night. Know you're long gone, but appreciate you, Andrew. We'll talk to you. Vic picked up Pickens with Claypool, gone for Tony, non-PPR. Dot. I think that's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. I like the move. Mr. Curly Wolf's in the house. What's up, bro? Like and subscribe for this man's hard work and dedication to us fans. Hey, I appreciate you, Curly Wolf. Appreciate you. Guys, we are... How long have we been streaming? About an hour in. Hit that like button for me, guys. Let's try and get as many likes on the stream as possible. Dami Yo, what's up, man? Hope you're doing well as well. Should I start Pittman or Foreman? Probably Foreman because... I guess that's the one point with tomorrow's game I haven't gotten into. Even if the weather is bad, Patterson, Algier, Foreman will probably get a lot of touches. And both these defenses are not good against the run. So probably Foreman, but Pittman does have a good matchup against Oakland. All right, Carrie with the $2 super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Guys, thank you guys so much for the super chats tonight. Emojis in the chat for all you guys. I gotta find you guys a good emoji. I'm looking. There we go. Unicorn. All right, Carrie. Traded Tua, Lamb for Adams. I have Burrow and Fields. I think that's fine. I was trying to figure out the second part, Carrie, but I figured it was like a typo, like your phone or something put a "nah" after Tua for some reason. But traded Tua and Lamb for Adams. I have Burrow and Fields. That's fine then. That's fine. This is like, didn't we just get this trade from someone else? Literally, didn't someone else send this trade in? Yeah, Joey traded Tua and Lamb for Adams. I have Burrow and Fields. That's an insane coincidence. Two of you guys had the same trade, the same exact trade. Okay, completely fine. I mean, you have Burrow and Fields as good. I mean, Tua's playing good football, but you don't need him if you have Burrow and Fields, you know. And then you upgrade, right? You go from wide receiver 16 to wide receiver 6. So I don't have a problem with it at all. I think it's a good trade, Carrie. Thank you for the $2 dono. I appreciate it so much. Appreciate you guys sending out the super chats tonight. Okay, that was my other account. I was like, what in the world? Oh, I'm sorry you had to send a super chat, bro. I mean, just so you know, the super chat from earlier on your other account did not go through. It just showed up as a normal question in the chat. So you didn't send a super chat earlier like we thought, but just so you know, But it did come through in the chat as a normal chat. So, all right, let's see here. I was like, wow, same exact trade circumstances. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Baltimore or New England defense rest of the year. I probably still go New England. They're number 1 overall right now. I'd probably stick with New England, but you can roster Baltimore if you want. Tua or Fields. This week specifically, I go Fields, but it's okay to hold on to both and play them based on matchup. But this week, I go Fields against the Lions. Concerned about Pitts because of weather. I am too. Other tight end is Schultz, but I'm starting him in flex because of bye week. Should I drop Pitts for Freiermuth? I mean, I'd rather have Freiermuth on the season. I mean, you guys know I'm not a fan of Pitts, so I'd rather have Freiermuth on the season. But Freiermuth has a bad matchup this weekend. Yeah, Freiermuth has a bad matchup this weekend. The Saints are in the top They're like the second best team in the league against opposing tight ends, if not the first. But I'd rather have Freiermuth on the season. But the weather's going to impact Pitts for sure. So I would probably do it, but just keep in mind Freiermuth might not have a great week this week. Carry trade Waller for Pitts. Yeah, I mean, I don't like Pitts, but I'd rather have Pitts than Waller because at least Pitts is on the field, you know. Let's see if there's any update on Waller. Yeah, I mean, he's still limited, still questionable. He might come back by week 12, and they'll play Seattle that week, who's the worst team in the league against tight ends. So that's all you got to hold on to there if you're holding on to Waller. I mean, Waller, in terms of his health, is just so incredibly inconsistent. I'd rather have Pitts. At least he's playing. At least he's on the field when he's inconsistent. So I'd roll with that. Sick Nasty, Godwin or Sutton, Pickens or Marshall? I'll go Godwin and Pickens. Nick, have some buys. PPR flex, Wilson, Connor, or Pickens. I go Wilson. Drop Monty for Ricard. I have Herbert. That's fine. Miles Sanders or Lenny. I go Sanders. Dynasty Life, what's up, my guy? What up, what up? Appreciate you stopping by. How are you doing, man? What's up, brother? How are you? Speaking of Amon-Ra, interested on your thoughts for next year and on with Jameson healthy. Does that downgrade Amon-Ra for you? If he's healthy, I don't necessarily think so. He's just far too talented of a player when he's healthy, right? I think his skill set still will kind of shine through. If anything, like the way I look at a lot of receiver situations like that is like, at the end of the day, when you have multiple receivers on the field, it can be a good thing. Like you look at like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and you know, like going into the season, I was still a huge fan of Waddle, and my argument was always Tyreek Hill is going to help open up things for Waddle, you know, and he could, not the same exact players or the caliber of players, but you could think of J-Mo as that type of receiver who stretches the field, and then you look at Amon-Ra as an underneath guy, so I don't think it's going to hurt him per se. J-Dubs, Amon-Ra should be the slot receiver for the Lions. I think he'll get major targets still and hopefully more red zone looks with improvements. Yeah, great point. By the way, guys, Dynasty Life Fantasy runs a little good channel. You guys go check him out. Go drop him a sub, drop him some likes. He runs some good fantasy Q&As as well. Does some good content. He's a good guy. Go show him some support. All right, let's see here. Terrace Marshall or Rondo Moore rest of season. I'd probably go Rondo Moore. Nick, have a good night, man. Big Trev, and that's if Kyler doesn't play, who's the better stream? T-Law, Russ, Jimmy G, Carr. I go Jimmy Garoppolo. T-Law's okay too, but I go Garoppolo. Much safe, just a safe play. You know, you're going to get 17 points at worst. Just super safe. Don French, what's going on, my guy? Hello, hello. Welcome to the channel. Appreciate you subscribing. Welcome to Catch Fam. Josh Palmer, Jeff Wilson, PPR Flex. I go Wilson because this Browns unit has been very, very bad against the run. So I go Jeff Wilson. But if Palmer comes out as the #1 receiver, you might want to consider him. But ultimately, I probably just go with Jeff Wilson. Just feel safer. Will Rondo Moore play this week? Let's take a look. I mean, he's always a little bit banged up, right? Has a hand injury. It looks like he's still going to be good to go. Something to monitor for sure, though. Santos, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you being here. I'm happy to give advice. Don, you can also go Herbert. I like Herbert against the Lions, but Wilson should see better volume. Would you start Jimmy G over Herbert? That's close. That one's close. Probably, but it's close. It's close. Very close, but probably. No. I don't really see a higher ceiling out of either player. But I feel like Jimmy could be slightly safer. I could also see a game. I don't know. I'll go Herbert here. Because I think Herbert's going to have to throw the football more in this game. And the Chargers have one of the worst run defenses in the league. So I feel like the game script will be better for Herbert. But it's very close, Rodney. Start Khalil Herbert over JT if he plays. If JT suits up, I'm still starting JT this weekend, guys. The Raiders' defense has been trash. They have not been good against the run. I still start JT if he plays. And if he doesn't play well this weekend, then so be it. We can start benching him, you know. And I get it, guys. I've been still saying don't bench JT. I know, I get it. It's hurt some of you guys, but this is like it's the final straw for Jonathan Taylor. Okay, so let's do it one more time. It's a good matchup. All right, let's see here. Joe, what's good, bro? How are you doing, man? With Kyler Murray having hamstring issues, do I dare start Goff versus Chicago? I think if Kyler's good to go, you still start Kyler. But Goff is a decent stream. I mean, I like probably Trevor Lawrence, Daniel Jones, Jimmy Garoppolo more. And before we got this awful weather update, I kind of liked Mariota going into the week, but I don't anymore. So, close there. Close. But, it depends on who else is out there. All right, let's see here. Are we still buying low on JT if you're in a good position with a winning record? I would say yes. But buy low. Don, PPR flex, Connor, Wilson, Herbert, or Palmer. Just keep an eye. Like, if Palmer comes out as the #1 receiver, he's still worth a look. But that's about it. I mean, I do think, once again, the Chargers are going to be in a game script where they need to throw the football. And then I go... as my next option, I go Jeff Wilson. Would dropping Pitts for Everett be better than Freiermuth? I like Muth. I like Freiermuth. I go Freiermuth on the year. He dropped back a little bit in rankings because he was on bye week, but before the bye week, he was your tight end 9. So I got you Dynasty Life course, bro. Is Gus Edwards worth a stash for next week? I mean, a stash is fine, but just keep in mind, you guys are going to hear me say this 100 times. I don't trust this backfield for the Ravens on a weekly basis. So understand, if you stash him and you feel like you're going to start him, he might hurt you, right? You might see Kenyon Drake ball out. You might see Dobbins come back at some point. It's just hard to trust this backfield on a week-to-week basis, you know? So I just be a little bit hesitant is all. But yeah, you can stash him. That's not going to hurt you. Opinions on Hollywood Brown. I think Hollywood Brown, whenever he hopefully comes back. I mean, do we have a true timetable on Hollywood? I think he'll be fine if he's able to come back. But like, let's say he can come back week 15, finish out the fantasy playoffs for you. He gets Denver. I don't love that matchup, but he played really well regardless of matchup this year. You know? Then he gets Tampa Bay and Atlanta. Atlanta, like, he's worth holding on to just because he faces Atlanta in week 17. You know? But we just don't have a true timetable. It's like kind of looking at Jamar Chase at the moment. Like, definitely value there, but it's just hard to say when they're going to play, you know? But yeah, I don't think like he's going to be I don't think he's going to be hurt by like Hopkins being there. I think if anything, the combination of those two are going to be extremely lethal. So I think he's good to hold on to. Or if he's part of like a trade package, I don't have an issue with it per se. Santos 3-6, but trying to climb in the playoffs. Just got Hawk in trade. Would you start him rest of the season over Schultz or hold Schultz in case? Dolchich on waivers. I mean, those tight ends are like pretty close overall. I mean, I would probably personally be starting Hawkinson because he is a top 5 tight end. Um, I would start Hawkinson, but yeah, you can keep an eye on really any of those players, you know. Um, Sorry guys, music just stopped. It's annoying me. There we go. You can definitely keep an eye on Dulcich and Schultz, and it's worth holding one or the other. But I would be starting Hawkinson if I were you. I mean, over the season, he's been the best out of that bunch. He's their tight end 5, and he looked just fine in his first game with the Vikings. So I'd be starting Hawk. Who should I drop hits for? Njoku, Otten, Komet, or Dulcich? I would drop him for Greg Dulcich. But if you want to roster any of those other tight ends as a second option, that's fine. Cardinals offense can support Hollywood Brown when he comes back, if he's back for the season. All right, I 100% agree, J-Dubs. Are you buying low on Swift if I have a winning record? Yes, for sure. No problem with that. Starting wide receiver along with A.J. Brown, non-PPR, Kirk, Pickens, Judy. Ooh, I go Kirk. Yeah. Good game script. Gets the Chiefs. Should be throwing the football. I'll go Kirk. But kind of close there. I mean, some good options, but ultimately, Christian Kirk for me. Give me the Kirkster. All right. J-Dub's buying low on Swift still. I agree. If you're in a good position, you have depth, winning record, whatever. I agree. Probably going to drop Pitts, but for this week only, Everett or Freiermuth. For this week, it's tough to say because the Steelers could be in a game script where they're going to have to throw the football. You know what I'm saying? So it's close. It's very close. Because on the other hand, Everett could be a primary receiver for the Chargers this weekend. Where did the Niners come in against tight ends? I would imagine they're not too bad. But let me take a look for you. Yeah, they're like the 8th best. They're the 8th best team in the league against tight ends. I could see both those game scripts being pass heavy for the Chargers and the Steelers. I'll go Freiermuth because I think he has a better chance to score at the end of the day, but close. I don't see a crazy, like a higher ceiling potential that's makes me like really want to go one or the other. You know what I'm saying? Nady, what's up, bro? Which defense do you like? Titans, Broncos, Giants, and is the Jets and Path worth holding over the bye? Yeah, they're definitely both worth holding on to. But the Pats more so if you have to pick one or the other. For the week, I go the Broncos. I think the Broncos are a really good stream this week, but the Titans aren't bad either. I mean, none of them are bad streams, but I go the Broncos. I think the Broncos are sneaky this week, especially if Malik Willis is the starting quarterback. And they're pretty good against the run. They're not going to be able to ultimately limit Derrick Henry. I don't know if anyone can, but they're so good against the pass and opposing receivers, and there's no receivers on this team anyways. I think the Broncos could end up having a really good day. If Tannehill starts, it's not as good, but it's still good. So, does Cameron Brate full participation hurt Cade Otton this week? I mean, it does. But Otton, I still was going to... You're taking a little bit of a gamble, but Otton is still kind of the upside play there, you know, and kind of the hot hand at the moment, especially coming off of a game winner. So, I'd probably roll with... if you have to roll with Otton, I'm not completely against it. Nick, help at flex. DJM, Ayuk, Pollard, Mostart. I go Pollard. Who should I grab? Claypool and drop Khalil. I keep Khalil Herbert for now. I have Rachaad White, Pollard, and Dillon. Nick, I would start Pollard. Ayuk's not a bad option, though. Ayuk's kind of interesting. DJ Moore I did like, but I don't know about this weather. So, I'd probably go Pollard in the flex. I like Pollard this week. I would hold on to Khalil Herbert because he plays the Lions this week, you know? If I paired up Hollywood and say Lazard, Judy, or Palmer, what wide receiver value do you think I could get? Well, Jeff, you got to look at a team that is, like, in a good position and can potentially hold on to Hollywood while he's hurt. You know what I'm saying? So it's close there. I mean, it just, you got to be able to identify a team within your league that is in a good enough position. You know what I'm saying? Pickens a great stash though. Rest of the season with Claypool gone, targets should go up. I agree. Does Mariota have a bad weather for that Carolina game? Trying to figure out who to stream. Yeah, I mean, we're waiting to get a better update, but it's probably going to be bad weather tomorrow, J-Dubs. Caleb, what's good, bro? I have Donta Foreman. Should I add Chuba? You can. It's hard to say like what that back, because since Chuba went out when they first both started, they both looked great. Then Chuba went out, and Foreman kind of took over. They didn't have a great week last week, but it's close. Yeah, I mean, like, why not pick him up? Like, you own the backfield at that point. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, pick up McCole Hardman for sure, man. Hardman's like my favorite guy out there on the waiver right now. Muth doesn't have to share targets with Claypool. That's fair. Who you starting at receiver? Lazard, Judy, Pickens, or Palmer? I mean, Pickens is going to get good volume share. I like Lazard on a weekly basis, but I think this is the toughest matchup he's going to have. I don't know, man. This Packers offense, I just don't have a good feeling about as we approach the week. I really don't. So, most weeks I'm probably going Lazard, but you might end up going Pickens or Palmer here. If Palmer comes out as the number one receiver, you can consider him, because I do think the Chargers are going to throw the football quite a bit in this game, but Lazard is just risky against the Cowboys, as much as I like Lazard, but this is a tough matchup. The Packers could end up with a really, I don't know, this could get ugly. Tony, Kmet and Njoku or Hill? I go Kmet this week against the Lions, but Njoku on the season. Santos, Cardinals or Seahawks or Niners? I go the Cardinals. Especially if Stafford doesn't play, then I'm definitely going the Cardinals. Is B-Rob droppable? My RBs are Monty, Jones, Jamal, J-Rob, Walker. B-Rob's droppable, yeah. Pickens or Palmer this week? Emmy, if Palmer comes out as a wide receiver 1 and Allen doesn't play, Palmer. If not, Pickens due to volume and game script. Who's droppable? Robinson, Hubbard, or J-Rob? Personally, I would drop Robinson. My only option is Algier, CPAT back. You think he could get 10 to 12 points? Yes. Due to weather and due to volume. I mean, he did it last week with CPAT out there. So, yeah. Good matchup. Due to the weather and nature of this game. Yeah, for sure, man. Start 2, Jimmy G, Mariota with the bad weather, and Sam Ehlinger. I still go Jimmy G and Marcus Mariota here. I don't want to start Sam Ehlinger, who's at like 7.5 or 7.6 points a game. Yeah. Give me Mariota and Jimmy G here. How do you feel about Sutton this week in full PPR? He's fine. He gets the Titans. It's a good matchup. If you don't have better options, you can go with Sutton. I don't love it. I don't hate it. Just looking at the matchup, it's perfectly fine. You know. Full PPR. Any other format, I'd probably be a little bit shaky, but full PPR is fine. Nick, good job on the Kenyon Drake pick versus Carter last week. Thank you. Thank you for that feedback. Makes me feel good, man. I'm glad we got that one right for you, Nick. What do you think for my PPR flex? Swift or Godwin? I'll go Godwin this week, but keep a close eye on Swift. Like, that game script could be really good for Swift overall. So, it's close. Very close there. But I'll go Godwin. I mean, I'll say it this way. Godwin is a safe floor overall. Swift gives you the upside, though. But more risk. You think Mike Evans will play this week? I do, Caleb. I do. But keep in mind, like, the target volume should be there for Godwin as well as Mike Evans. But overall, when we look at the Seahawks defense, they're pretty good against receivers. So keep that in mind. But the volume's going to be there. The Buccaneers are throwing like 52 times a game. Jacob, the Bears will own Aaron Rodgers December 4th, and it will be fantastic. You know, I was looking at the schedule, and yeah, I had that thought as well. I had the same exact thought. And that game is at Chicago, too. That's going to be a fun game, man. It's going to be an interesting game. There's a path for Sutton to smash, but this Broncos team is bad. I agree. Fancy Dog was good, bro. I appreciate you. What up, man? Should I try to trade Connor and D-Hop for Etienne and Waddle? Yes, I like that trade. Duvernay was good, bro. You like Danny Dimes this week? That's fine. Yep. Not a crazy high ceiling, I think, due to the nature of that game being focused on the run game. But, yeah, I'm fine with that, man. I'm fine with that. He's on my streaming options list for the week, so I don't have a problem with it. Gob, what's good, bro? What are your thoughts on Brandon Cooks? I'm getting tired of seeing him on my bench, but no one really to get off waiver. Who should I trade for? To be honest with you, bro, I don't think you can trade Cooks for anyone. He's someone you can add on to the end of a package, but other than that, you're not getting any value for Cooks right now. So if you want to drop him for a waiver, you can, but it looks like there's not much out there. Let me know who's out there, and we can take a look. But, yeah, I don't think you can trade him straight up for anyone right now. I already have Fields and Herbert. Should I drop Herbert? Okay, if it's Justin Herbert and you're absolutely desperate for a skill position player or something, you can, but just keep in mind, like, it's probably worth rostering Herbert because he's still Justin Herbert. And if he gets these receivers back, you know, you look at, like, he's got a stretch towards the end of the year, like Kansas City, Arizona, Las Vegas, Miami, Tennessee, Indy coming up. It's a pretty good stretch overall in terms of game script and matchups, right? And if he gets some of his receivers back, he could get back to, even if he gets back to like 75% of what he was last year, he's still valuable. And then on top of that, Fields has a bye week, right? And a very, really like annoying time, week 14. And week 12, he gets the Jets. Week 13, he gets Green Bay. Then he gets a bye week. Then he gets Philadelphia and Buffalo. So there are some tough matchups for Fields and a bye week, most importantly. But he did have 26 points against Dallas. So who knows? I might hold on to both. You know, there's still value to having that second player. You know what I'm saying? T. Marshall, a pickup for B-Rob. Non-PPR, look elsewhere. Yeah, that's fine. But just keep in mind, this weather tomorrow, guys, not going to be good. Only other options were Garoppolo and Brissett. I like Garoppolo. I think Garoppolo's a little bit safer, but Danny Dimes brings potentially more upside, but a lot more risk. What do you think about Pitts this week? Well, it depends on the weather, Caleb. Weather could really bring his value even further down than usual. Let's see. I pick up Terrace Marshall. Panthers are a bad team. Is relevant for garbage time. I agree. Just this matchup this week is doo-doo. Well, the matchup's fine. The weather is bad. If Josh Allen doesn't play, will Stephon Diggs' volume go down with Keenum? I mean, probably not. Like, backup quarterbacks still target the number one receivers. I mean, you look at Cooper Rush and CeeDee Lamb this year, you know, like a number one receiver and a good tight end or a backup quarterback's best friend. So I don't think so, to be honest. And Keenum is a capable backup quarterback. He's not Josh Allen, but he's capable. If Njoku plays, even if limited, should I start him over Pitts? I would, just due to the weather, yeah. What if it was Diggs and Connor for Etienne and Waddle? I don't like it as much. I don't want to trade Diggs, but Waddle's still, what, top 6? Or has he moved up to 5? I actually don't hate that trade. Yeah, he's wide receiver 5. So you swap wide receiver 3 for 5. You go from Connor to Etienne. I'd consider it, but I liked it the other way more. Broncos wide receivers have one of the best rest season and playoff matchups. It's so tempting if they could get the proper looks. And I do think there's a chance that they could, J-Dubs. I do think there's a chance that this Broncos team improves in the second half of the season, but We'll see. We'll see. Herbert's ribs are getting better every day. Let's go. Geno Smith or Kyler this week? If Kyler's healthy, I still go Kyler, but Geno's fine. Kyler didn't play well against the Rams earlier in the season, so if you're worried about the matchup and if you're worried about the injury, then you can go Geno. Let's see. Should I wait and try to play Njoku this week, hoping he plays, or just start Pitts? I probably wait and see if Njoku plays. A far better matchup, man. Far better game script. Is Evan Engram reliable rest of the season, most importantly in playoffs, enough for me to hold my team? It's Lamar, Barkley, Etienne, Diggs, A.J. Brown, Ingram, Hopkins, Monty, Pickens, Foreman, Randall. Yes, he is. Because the rest of his team is very good. So, I would hold this team, personally. I would. I know he stunk you in week 9. Let's see. The playoffs, he gets Dallas, the Jets, and Houston. He's tied in 12. He dropped back a little bit. He's going to have a bye week. He's going to drop back again. But I would say yes. Yeah, I agree, J-Dubs. Nick, only because my RBs are Carner and Cordero. I don't hate the trade, man. I don't hate the trade. Waddle's that, yeah, I don't hate the trade, man. It's an upgrade at running back, and it's not too bad of a drop at receiver. Try getting Dulcich for Foreman and got declined. Brody has Kelsey with Hunt and Singletary as starting RBs. I don't get it. Yeah, that's not a bad trade either way. Fantasy Dog, I dropped Taysom in 20 leagues. What was New Orleans coach thinking? No rush attack on Monday Night Football, yeah. Yeah, rough night, man. Hill has had his moments this season, but just no consistency. Anthony, what's good, bro? St. Brown, Olave, and Godwin. Give me St. Brown and Olave. Better matchups overall. Better game scripts. Seahawks have been very good against receivers. Not a good ceiling for Godwin. You think with the coach change in Indy, they'll restart Ryan? I've heard that they won't, but who knows what Jeff Saturday is going to do. Foreman or Mostart? I'll go Foreman. Go Foreman. Nady, 12-team PPR, 2 flex. Geno, Watson, Kamara, Mixon, Walker, Pierce, A.J. Brown, Mike Evans, Cooks, Palmer, Marshall, OBJ, Pitts, Dulcich, Broncos, Titans. Try to upgrade quarterback to no interest. I mean, team looks pretty good. Rolling with Geno right now, not a crazy ceiling. Hopefully Watson helps you, but I mean Geno's like quarterback 8 in fantasy, so are you gonna get much better without trading away like important piece of your team? Probably not. Kamara, Mixon, Walker is beautiful, and Dameon Pierce. Your running backs are stacked. AJ Brown, Evans, Palmer, Marshall. You can get rid of Cooks, bro. OBJ's fine. The stash. Pitts and Dulcich is fine. Broncos D. Yeah, team looks good. I mean, yeah, you can get rid of Cooks, but just know that you have a player you can drop if someone comes up on the waivers that you want to go after. So, the rest of the team looks good, bro. Nick, should I stay with my team? Hurts, Connor, Cordero, Diggs, D-Hop, Kelsey, DJ Moore, Ayuk, Pollard, Dylan, Khalil, Ricard White, Mostart, Jacoby Myers. I might do that trade. I mean, if you can trade D-Hop over Diggs, D-Hop and Connor for Waddle and ETN would make this team better, for sure. But other than that, I'd probably hold. And because keep in mind, like, you have Pollard as well. Pollard holds a lot of value here as well as an RB3 and flex option. You got to, I mean, Kelsey and Hurts at QB and tight end is beautiful. And Diggs and D-Hop's not bad. But if you get that upgrade at running back, I think it helps you a lot, man. Jacoby Myers, Mostart, Ricard White, Khalil Herbert. I would keep all those guys. Even A.J. Dillon right now and Ayuk. I mean, this team's not that bad, Nick. Not that bad. Palmer or Swift in half PPR. In half PPR, I'll go Swift. I'll lean towards the running back position. Should I start Foreman, Pittman, or Jeff Wilson? I'm going to go Jeff Wilson. I like him this week. I like this game script. I like this matchup against the Browns. Pickens or Deontay? I think we need a larger sample size before we know. I do. I think we need to see what this team looks like without Claypool around. But I'm leaning Pickens, and just due to volume and being that security blanket for Kenny Pickett. Jamal Williams or Miles Sanders? I go Miles Sanders, and I do like Jamal Williams a lot, but I'm going to go Miles Sanders. Should be a good game script for him where they're just going to try and close out this game and utilize the run game to take time off the clock. But I'm not against Jamal Williams against the Bears. He's a good play, too. Nady, we got you. Hardman is Reed's answers to the shell defense. Unbelievably underrated. Your thoughts? I think Hardman has been playing great. Been begging you guys to go after him in the waiver wire for like 2 or 3 weeks now. I'm glad that other people are starting to do so. But yeah, I continue to be a fan of Hardman on a week in, week out basis as a good flex option. Like him this week against the Jags for sure. Gabe Davis or James Conner? I'll go Conner here. But Gabe Davis is due for a good week, right? He gets the Vikings. Not completely against him. But yeah. I'll go Conner for a floor and a safer option. Gabe Davis for upside and far more risk. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start winding down the stream here over the next 5 minutes. I appreciate you guys coming out tonight. I appreciate you guys talking fantasy, keeping the conversation going in the chat. And most importantly, I appreciate your fantasy questions. But we're going to start winding down an hour and a half stream. About all I can do tonight. But Steven and I will be on tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern time for an hour before Thursday night kickoff. And we've got must-start defenses, must-start kickers out, starts and sits at starts and sits at running backs and receivers out. Starts and sits at quarterback will drop tomorrow. Starts and sits for tight ends to come throughout the week as well. So make sure you guys go check out the videos for the week. Go drop a like. Go drop a comment. Let us know what you guys think. Might be able to find some further advice in the videos on top of that. So, appreciate you guys being here tonight, man. Like I said, appreciate all the fancy questions. And thank you guys so much. We had a ton of super chats tonight. Thank you guys for all the super chats as well. I appreciate you guys, man. Make sure you guys hit that like button on the way out. If you're new to the channel, make sure you guys join the Discord. And check out, follow us on Instagram. Check out the links down below as well. Caleb, we got you. Gob, would you start Hardman over Pitts? Yes, I would personally, for sure. For sure. Yeah. Olave or Dameon Pierce? In PPR, I mean, you can't really go wrong here. I'll go Olave, but Pierce is going to have another good week. But I'll go Olave because the Giants have been pretty good against the run. I appreciate you, Fancy Dog. I appreciate you, man. Nady, of course. Vaden, trade Lamar and Olave for Andrews. I have Fields and a good receiver room. You can consider it. It depends on the rest of the roster, but I'm not totally against it. But I might just hold there. Because Fields has some tough matchups in a bye week, and Olave has been extremely productive. But if you're just hurting at tight end, I'm not completely against it per se. All right, guys, that's going to do it for the night. Hit that like button on the way out. Hit that subscribe button, of course, if you're new to the channel. Check out all the links down below. Follow us on Instagram. Join the Discord. You guys know what to do, man. So thank you guys so much once again for coming out tonight, for spending part of your night here at the channel. Thank you guys for all the super chats. Thank you guys for all of the fancy questions. Be on tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern time with Steven before Thursday night kickoff. Everyone have a great night. Everyone be safe. Everyone have a great Thursday. Love you guys. Love this community. Love the Catch fam. Talk to you guys soon. With that, I'll say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on the Catch. And